Hi everyone, how are you? This is going to be a good video here. It's going to be about everything about online marketing. Um, it's online marketing is complex now. There are many websites, as you know, many techniques. So I made a list for myself. I'm going to go down this list. This is going to be like a really informative video. I'm going to try to get through things very quickly. Some things may be a little complicated. I'm going to make separate videos to get deeper into some topics. You know, like SEO, like that really needs its own video or maybe many videos, but stuff like that, right? So I'll go over the general umbrella things you can do, the options you have, and then you can determine which options you need to drill down into. So here we go. So and these are not in any particular order. These are just going to be the order of the list that I made. Um, so let's talk about getting press and PR, right? Everybody wants press. There's a lot of scale. If you're a tech company, you want to get published in TechCrunch, blah, blah, blah. Smaller press is kind of like, and smaller means like more achievable, right? So almost no company is going to get covered by TechCrunch, just statistically, right? There's like thousands and thousands of tens of thousands of companies, but only very few get covered by TechCrunch. Usually, not usually, often, those companies have an inside track. Like they hired a PR agency. That's like a PR agency will get you mentioned in the press, but the PR agencies cost like $5,000 to $10,000 a month, right? So few companies can hire those. Um, or you got to really know the reporters at some of these, right? So you either have to have some connections, or you have to pay a marketing agency, uh, or you can do these things to get PR that I'm going to explain to you. Number one, look up something called Haro, and I'm going to have it. I'll probably have the links to all the things I mentioned in the notes. So there's a description of the YouTube video. Just click on Show More, and it will show you all the links, right? So there's a thing called Haro, Help a Reporter Out. It's where reporters write questions where they can't get really good answers, and experts in their niche can answer. And if your answer gets chosen, if your answer is good, you'll get a mention and a link back to your site from those big publications. I myself have been published, like I mentioned my site on CBS News or something like that, Mashable, and a couple of other big ones. So Haro works, I know firsthand, right? But Haro took a long. It takes many. You have to try hard, and then your answers have to be very good, and you have to be persistent. But Haro works. It's free. The second thing is do podcasts, right? So there are many podcasts. Some podcasts are just like radio shows. They get like 20,000 people a day or an episode, right? But those are difficult. Again, the big ones are difficult to get onto. But it goes smaller. Go, not the top podcasts, but wants to have 1,000, 5,000 listeners or something like that. It's easy to get on those. They're usually run by nice people who are entrepreneurs just like you. They'll kind of get you in there, right? So that's one way. Another way to get sort of PR for your business. Another one is to reach out to bloggers. That's marginal because bloggers are a bit tired of getting reached out to. So it's a little bit harder to get written up by a blog. But so anyway, so blogs are kind of like usually they have their own topics they write about and blah blah blah. They're not that easy to. But in my experience, Haro's worked well. Being on podcasts has worked well. Things like that. Guest blogging for big sites can work well, especially if you write an amazing blog post that gets picked up by others. Like I have an article that I wrote one time, and it had some kind of a when my apps reached 150,000 downloads. I wrote an article how I did that. And that got picked up by this Yahoo Small Business. I wrote it on a relatively small, like mid-sized blog, but Yahoo syndicated it, so it got published on Yahoo. Then it got published on Business Insider and a few other smaller publications, right? So that's one other way. You can guest blog on medium size but prominent blogs, and then that can get picked up, right? So you can get big exposure that way. So that's kind of it for PR. PR has issues like targeting. The user, you have scale, but you don't have the targeting that's great, right? You don't know like how good that targeting is. Sometimes, like if you do a podcast, then the whole thing is about your business. You talk about it for like 30 minutes. That targeting is pretty good, but and usually the podcast's listeners are people who care about your niche. But sometimes PR, if you're covered by Yahoo, everyone visits Yahoo. So I mean, most people don't care. Like my topics are business topics. Most people don't care, right? So that's like a waste a little bit, because the conversion rate from that will be very low. So anyway, so that's PR. Let's see what's next on my list. Oh yeah, so SEO. Everybody wants to talk about SEO. Okay, SEO, huge topic, right? If you don't know what SEO is, search engine optimization. It's essentially the way to get Google your site to rank in Google. This used to be kind of easy to do, like in 2008, 2009, 2007. You just made a blog. In a couple of months, it started ranking in Google. You will get a ton of free traffic. A lot of people did that. It subsequently took advantage of that. And subsequently, Google had to make stricter and more difficult ways to, they had to make it more difficult for people to get traffic from Google, and they had to figure out a way to raise the bar for quality, right? So now you can't just make any old thing and get it to rank, right? So you have to kind of put effort into SEO and have a lot of quality. What I mean by that is kind of like, well, SEO, how do you get a page to rank, right, in Google? Your domain name has to have some strength. And how does it get that strength in the eyes of Google? It's basically by building high quality links from other sites, like by getting PR, right, like from Mashable, from CNN, whatever you can get. So good links pointing to your website, right? And that's gonna, like, Google's algorithm is gonna say, wow, that site is getting like really good links, right? And there must be something really good there, so let's rank it higher. But it's not that simple now, right? Getting links into your site has always been a big deal for SEO and for Google search, but now there's other issues like how long people spend on your site, how many pages they browse, whether your site is frequently shared on social media. Also, there's differences between the site itself and the individual pages on the site. So there's a lot there. I'm going to make a separate video just for that, especially for how to like approach SEO going forward, because there's a lot of articles online about this, but they're like from 2010, and the whole thing just changed. I mean, the whole SEO changes really, and it's very opaque. The whole space is opaque by design, because Google doesn't want everybody to know how to get their pages on the first page, because then everybody will do it, right? And they really only have like 10 spots on the first page. And if you think about it, like if you search for like, I don't know, something, right? Probably there's a Wikipedia page, there's like the actual official page for that thing, there's like some government organization probably. So the actual real estate on that list of 10 things of Google is not even 10, it's less, right? Because some things are just, you're not going to beat them, like the official site, like Wikipedia. So it's kind of difficult now. They made it difficult, but it's still a very viable way, because the real beauty of it and why everybody still is crazy about SEO. Like SEO is like a great thing if you can get it right, because what's really right about it is that these people are looking for you, right? They're searching for the stuff that you're selling, right? If you're selling shoes, they'll find, they may find you. You're not gonna show up there, because you'll have to beat Amazon and Zappos, all the shoe retailers. But let's say, for example, shoes, and you sell shoes, and they find you, right? Amazing, because these are the shoppers. They're shopping for shoes, right? Not only that, the true beauty of Google is that the timing is right for your client, for your potential customers, right? They're not just shopping in general. They're actually shopping right now, right? And then they find your site, and you have to do nothing. Like once you're on that first page, you know. So that combination of intent, like the search, they tell Google what their intent is, and the timing right now, they're doing it right now, is unbelievable. Like one person from SEO is better than like 20 people you will get from Twitter. Just their quality is just so much better because they're ready for you. They're looking for you, right? They're seeking you out. You're not selling to them. They're looking for you. All you have to do is not drop the ball. All you have to do is just not, you know, have any bugs on your site or have an ugly site or whatever. Just make sure the site sells them that thing that they want. So that's why SEO is so golden, and that's why people spend a lot of money on getting on that first page. And the first page really is, for some searches, it's really lucrative. I mean, if you search for the, if you rank for the word like tree, like, you know, the plants, it's not lucrative. But any product or any commerce or anything, like anything remotely money making, it's very lucrative, and it's very competitive. You know, is the web. So that's SEO. You know, so and you do it, but you know, you create a site, build links to it, make it popular on social media. Maybe have other things like, you know, get PR, whatever. Like, um, create a lot of content. Google likes sites with content and sites that regularly increase content and high quality content, right? Like high quality means, and this is like per page, you know, some reasonable amount of text, a couple of hundred words, more is better. Videos, pictures, other rich media, those are also signals of quality to your page. And also signals of quality to your page are things like how long people will stay on your site, right? So that's it. So let's go to the next topic of what else we have. Oh yeah, before I finish up with the Google stuff, right? There's SEO, but there's SEM. And SEM is basically you're paying for that person, right? So let's say you cannot get on the first page, right? So then you get, SEM is like how you get on like the sponsored listings on the side or on top. And you know, it's expensive now. It's pretty expensive. So like on average, people pay like $1 or $2 per one person clicking on your ad going to your site. And that's expensive because you know users, they're like, what is this? Oh, whatever. I don't want it. Next site. But you just spend $1 on that, right? For the user to go back. So SEO, SEM, it's very worthwhile because if you get the right kind of traffic, which monetizes, then SEM can be golden because you don't have to rely on SEO on chance that you may rank in Google, you know, or Google, you're actually paying, so for sure you're going to rank in Google for the term that you want, but it's your job to make sure that the money you're spending, you're actually getting more in revenue, right? For every $100 that you bring in, you can spend like $99. And once you figure out that mechanism, like let's say you're spending $50 on ads, but like $100 it comes back in revenue, and that happens over and over and over, well, you can escalate that, right? You can pay Google more and get more and more and more and more people. So SEM can be amazing, but there's quite a bit of work to get there. So okay, so that's SEM. It's pretty good if you can get it right. Let's go to the next topic. Let's talk about social media. Okay, everybody's talking about social media. It's very exciting, largely because it's free, right? People think it's free. I do have a separate video about cost of your marketing. It's not just the dollar cost, right? It's like the cost of the time that you don't get clients, right? how many months will that take, right? So sometimes and that's far greater cost than actually paying for the ads. So sometimes cost is like choosing an incorrect marketing strategy. Um, but anyway, back to social media. So it seems like it's free. It's not necessarily free, right? Social media at its most basic is not really effective, right? Because most people think about social media, especially first-time marketing, like beginner marketers, they think like social media. Oh, I'll post on Twitter or Facebook, right? That's not gonna work. I mean, it might, like for the first day, for the first 5 minutes, you'll post, and then what, right? So usually, if you're a regular person, you don't have that many people following you, just some regular amount, and usually they don't even care about things you're selling. And what's even worse is like they're kind of your friends, so you don't want to sell to them, right? And they will get irritated. Not only they won't buy, they'll be like, "What the hell? This person's selling to me. I thought that was their friend." So think a little bit differently about social media marketing. First of all, expand your idea of it a little bit. Include blogging, guest blogging, Quora, YouTube, uh, and obviously Twitter, SEO, Pinterest, whatever, all the like the hot new stuff, right? But think bigger, right? Think like in your mind it should overlap with PR, right? Because podcasting is a little bit like blogging, right? Except those guys talk, bloggers write, and so blogging is kind of like it's kind of PR, but it's kind of social, right? So find that overlap, right? Because uh, it's kind of like that's where you've expanded your idea of it, right? Of social media marketing, and then you can get somewhere, right? Because you can do a lot of guest blogging, and I've talked about how guest blogging can get you republished on bigger sites. You can do a lot of like you social media podcasts are kind of guest like social media, right? So you can do podcasts; those can get you exposure. Um, and then think about also kind of different blogging, guest blogging. Those things work for your SEO, right? If you guest blog or if you get published somewhere on some site, there's a link to your site. It improves your site's SEO. And if you write more high quality pages on your site, it also improves your SEO, right? So every page you make can rank in Google for a different keyword. So it's almost like try to think about how to expand your social media marketing, the idea of it in your mind, to start overlapping with other types of marketing, like with SEO, with PR. That's when you're kind of like seeing it broader, right? And then I mentioned YouTube as social media marketing. Well, it is, right. YouTube is again, it's the second largest. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, right? After Google.com. So that means that you have to have a presence there. But from YouTube, you can link to your site again. You can link to other resources. You can mention other resources, like me, for example. Like now, hey guys, go to problemio.com, download my mobile apps. That was just an example, but still, go there. So things like that, right? So that's kind of like big difference between just posting on Twitter and Facebook versus having a way more savvy strategy for this. Um, and also have more on social media marketing just by itself, and get into more depth, because there's a lot of depth. It's too complicated now because too many sites. People aren't sure what to do and how to get the scale and blah blah blah. So I'll have a separate thing about that. Here, I just wanted to kind of touch on it on the surface. So let's go to the next topic. What do we have? We should talk a little bit about being viral. There's a lot of talk about being viral and having things go viral. Look up something on Google called the viral coefficient. It's a little bit of a mathematical formula to actually help you determine how viral a piece of content is. Most things do not go viral. Most things just go okay. If things go okay, then that's pretty good. To go viral, I mean, you need to do something amazing, new, unique, extraordinary, interesting, or like it's the web, or cute, like a cat picture, or a cat video or something, right? So For virality, you have to be really something, really some worthwhile thing. But it's not necessary. I mean, it's great if you can get it, but it's not that necessary. You can do well without being viral, and viral is difficult to accomplish anyway. All right. And what I wanted to also talk about is, forget about don't. If we kind of step away for a second from thinking about like platforms like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, um, not the particular platforms, but let's think about um, how to leverage like large platforms, right? And large sources of distribution for you. So, for example, if your site ranks in Google, which Google is the biggest thing there is, I mean, like, there's nothing bigger. But let's say you rank in Google for something that nobody searches for, right? Something random, like, or like 3 people search for a year. Then that's not a large distribution flow for you, right? You're not gonna get anything from that for your business. But if you search for like the word business in Google, which is impossible to do, you'll get a tremendous amount of traffic. Similarly, in any platform sort of works like that, right? Like if you are in Twitter but you have 100 followers, what's that going to give you? But if you get someone who has 100,000 or 1 million followers to tweet your link or your website or something, then that makes more of an impact, right? And of course, you need it on a regular basis, so figure out how to get that happening as well. But that's the idea. Same thing like any platform, right? Like, I mean, if you're published in a newspaper, but it's like a crappy story, it's on page 9, three people will see that. But if you're the front page, the main thing, everyone who will see that paper, even people who don't even get that paper, they will see walking by the street, right? They will see, oh, interesting, blah, blah, blah. So it's also like, yeah, you want to leverage the big platforms, but you want to leverage them uh, right. Like you want to kind of get the most out of them, right? So it isn't that simple, but that's what you got to do. And for every platform, there's a whole strategy. So you can't really cover it in this video, but but that's kind of what you have to have in the back of your mind, right? Like I've gotten coverage in big websites, but like on the right side, on the bottom right, and like huge website, but I got like one person, literally like one person clicking to my site. So like it was okay. I got the link from that thing. It helped my SEO, but no traffic really. And sometimes you get like a headline, like you're the main thing that day, and it doesn't have to be the biggest site out there, right? It just can be a mid-sized site. Will drive far more people to your site. And who knows, Google may even be tracking that sort of a thing, like how prominently are people promoting you or something, because that also is a tell about your quality. So that's that. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. Okay, let's go. What's next? All right. Other topics are kind of like we're getting to the end of the really big things. Obviously, you need a website. I should talk about a little bit about that. Many people struggle with websites, but they don't need to. Even if you have no tech skills, for online marketing, like you need a website almost. You could potentially do without it, but you really just about pretty much can't. So take a look at something called WordPress. Approximately 20% of websites online, like all the websites, they use that service, and it's a CMS, and it's going to help you create your website without any tech skills for almost free. It's like the best. Everyone uses it, right? 20% of the internet. So look that up. I have a tutorial how to set up a WordPress site. I'll post a link in the video notes under the video, so you can follow the instructions. They're pretty good, like they're very step by step. And then once you have your website, whatever you're promoting, wherever on whichever social media site you are, uh, always link back to your site, because one thing that's kind of to keep in mind is that sites change, right? Like everybody used to be into MySpace, and then MySpace is dead, and they went to Facebook, and now nobody really likes Facebook anymore, and right. So it's like social sites are, they're here now, but no one really knows what's going to happen to them, right? And even if they don't go away, their rules may change. Like it's far harder now to advertise on Facebook than it was like 3 years ago. Um, so that ecosystem may change, right? So always try to get people to your site, because that's not going to change, right? Like that's where you want them to be. So you want them, and you kind of want them to stay there, like to have something for them to come back all the time and get them, to be your customers instead of Twitter's or Facebook's customers, right? Like users. So that's what you want to do, right? So you want to leverage all those to drive a buzz about you and to eventually get people to your site. And then the great thing about them is that you can cross promote on all of them, right? So if you're on Twitter, you can cross promote your Facebook, you can cross promote your YouTube, and YouTube you can promote your site, and your site, blah blah blah, all of them, right? So the beauty of that is because your users will have preferences of how they want to keep in touch with you. Some people want to keep in touch through email. Some people they just want to follow you on Twitter, see what's up, what you're tweeting. Some people like to get updates on Facebook. Some people like to watch videos, and so that you'll have something for everyone, right? Because if you just promote one thing, like your Twitter account, or your Facebook, or your YouTube, or your newsletter, well, some people may not like watching videos, or people don't want to sign up for an extra email thing, right? So you want to give them options. So you want to be on all those platforms, and so that people can follow you there in the way that it's convenient for them. Because if you never want to you never want to do stuff what's inconvenient for them, right? You always want to do what's convenient for your users, because why, right? It's better, convenient. You'll have a higher retention and conversion rate all the time. So anyway, that's been sort of my social media marketing primer. I'll have videos about. There's also things like, last thing, we should talk about Google Plus. Google Plus is kind of very important because Google has said officially that if you're on Google Plus, if you post your if you have Google authorship, and look up online what that is, and if you're on Google Plus and you post your posts on Google, your blog posts on Google Plus and things like that, it will help your SEO. So do that. So Google Plus is actually, like, there's not many people use it sort of not as, people aren't as engaged as Facebook. It doesn't have as many users, but it is helpful in that it will help your SEO, and it's just another way to keep in touch with people. And don't forget, when we're talking about like social platforms, I've had success with marketing through Quora, just because you can answer questions and lead people back to the resources where you want them to go. That's worked well. So look up Quora, look up Pinterest, right? Those are like things. Those are things people know, but maybe don't really use. Pinterest is specific; it's kind of in a niche. But Quora is broad. Almost any business can leverage Quora for their kind of to grow. And I'll have videos about all of these eventually. Anyway, so that's been the video about online marketing, your options, what you can do. I think it covered a lot. I got tired. I have fun making these videos, but I got tired. I feel myself getting tired. Anyway, if you like the video, if you want to keep in touch and get more videos, try to subscribe to my channel, and then you'll get an alert when I make the new videos. or you can like the video also. And if you'd like, you can check out my mobile apps that I make. So my apps are like business planning apps, and it's on Android, iOS, Kindle, Nook, and they're some of the top mobile apps for starting and planning your business. I try to make them really helpful, very educational. Many of them are free. So check them out. They're on Problemio.com, and if you search for Problemio in any app store, you should see them as well. But you'll definitely see them on Problemio.com. Has links to like all of them. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.